thanks for that work in progress. And please welcome now on stage the director of the film, Martin Scorsese. The co-director, David Tedeschi. The producer, Michael Bonner. The editor of the New York Review of Books, Robert Silvers. The publisher of the New York Review of Books, Ria Hederman. And one of the contributors you have seen in the first part of this work in progress, Michael Greenberg. I hope in just a few seconds, behind the curtain, the chairs will be ready for us for the panel discussion. I'm just waiting for a sign. You also, I guess. We can hear them working. Yeah. Seems they do have some progress there. Yeah, work in progress. Exactly. No, let's wait. So, well, we knew that there were 6 on the panel. I guess they forgot me. Well, thanks again for presenting this work in progress here in Berlin. And if you don't mind, I would ask the first question to Michael Greenberg, because, as we heard, words are so important, and they can do important things. Michael Greenberg is, besides many other works, the author of Hurry Down Sunshine and Backborough Steel. Both are translated into German. I want to know, as an author, is it a special thing to write for the New York Review of Books? And if so, can you describe that special situation you're in as an author?
Well, it's an absolutely special, and as one of the contributors was mentioning in the movie, I think it was Ian Baruma, when you write for Bob and you write for the Review, you're writing for this capacious experience and intelligence, and you stretch yourself to fill it, first of all. There's no antagonism with the review. There's only a feeling of support and intellectual exchange. And also the feeling, there's a lot of talk and a lot of mention of this word intellectual. But what really is an intellectual is not someone who's credentialed. An intellectual is simply someone who wants to know why, wants to know how. And that can be anyone, and that includes the hundreds of thousands of readers of the review and the contributors. And so it's a community, and it's a very special community. So yeah, for me, it's the top of the mountain. When I was reading the review as a very young man, or boy even, I never thought I'd have a chance. This to me would have been Xanadu to write for the review, and also scary.
Also scary. Mr. Ederman, you are the publisher of that famous and, legendary magazine since 1984. So that means since that time, for more than 3 decades, you are the guarantor of this magazine's unique independence. Can you tell us what that magazine means to you as a reader and as a citizen?
Well, as I said in the film, to me, the human rights is one of the most important aspects of the review, and something that I think is most important. And has from the very beginning been central to the New York Review, and that's something that I think should be kept and should continue on. It's also, as Bob could say better than myself, it's also in some ways a scary proposition, both in terms of putting contributors in harm's way, in terms of expenses of legal actions that may or may not be brought against the review, and for a variety of different ways. So to me, being at the New York Review has been heaven, something I could never have imagined when I was working in Mississippi in a very benighted atmosphere, actually. And coming to New York and having colleagues like Bob and Barbara Epstein was something for me not to be believed.
Martin Scorsese, we all admire your work. Wolf of Wall Street was premiered here in January, and we know that you are also fascinated by documentary filmmaking. You did films about film periods and about musicians like George Harrison and Bob Dylan. When did you develop the idea to make a film about that famous magazine? When did you come across that idea?
Well, actually, it was Bob Silvers that came to me.
So you were asked?
I was asked to do it, and he wrote me a very interesting letter pointing to the work we did on No Direction Home, the Bob Dylan film. David and Margaret and I put that film together over a period of 4 or 5 years. So when we met, we discussed the possibility. I'm fascinated by the New York Review. I picked it up in 1963 to across the way from one of the buildings at NYU at the time, down in Washington Square College. There was the period of the newspaper strike, and it looked very interesting. I've been reading it since, and I explained that it usually, these types of things take me some time because I make these other movies. But Bob suggested, well, can we at least try supervising and working together with David? And so David and I are co-directing and working it that way over. Actually, when was it? It was before we started shooting Wolf, or it was right before we started shooting, during the shooting, all the way during the editing. That's the way I pretty much worked on the Dylan picture and the Harrison film. For me, and for Dave and all of us, it's really an issue of making up. It's a tricky subject in terms of literature and the word, spoken word, the faces, the energy, and